Oh, heck, I just dropped my cigarette. Screwed up my hat. Having a wild hair day here. That's why I own so many hats, folks. Don't think I got style. I got laziness. Hello, Taylor. How you doing today?
Hey, doing pretty good.
I see you're not going to be in the picture, so to speak. You're
Not
going to.
today, no.
Oh, it's okay. You got your iced coffee?
I do.
We're
We're
good
set.
then. We're good. Great to have you all here, folks. I'm John Zidar. This is my co-host Taylor. She's lovely. Take my word for it. We are going to be
Hey,
talking
I've been
about,
on camera.
yeah, but we got some new people here. We
Okay.
got lots of comments here, and I have taken first come, first served here, folks. So I've worked my way from the top comment on down. A lot of these comments came in early because I have to put up an announcement. I'm going to do this, and people start dropping comments then. And rather than pick and choose which I'm going to do and piss somebody off inevitably, I just go first come, first serve. By the time 4 o'clock gets here, my plate's full, folks. So I have to cut off at around 8 stocks. That's taken us just a little over an hour and a half now. So don't take it personally if I didn't get to you. Underdog. Again, me and Taylor notice every week you are just underneath the cusp there. The
Yeah.
coffee cusp. We would like you to get that in there. There's nothing we can do. I know I could break the rules, but we're not going to do that. We've got lots of people here, people I recognize. Brian, Roy Fuchs, good to see you. Jerome Horace, MBS, S. Beg Smith. I presumed you wanted us to look at that, so I did do the due diligence on yours. Hello, Kishara. Long time you've been here. T. Rick, I love you being here, buddy. You rowdy. Be as rowdy as you like, honestly. Uh, David Fox. David, we're not going to be able to get to yours either. Anybody underneath T. Rick, AGBA, that's as far as we got. I see we've got a surprise guest here as far as I'm concerned. You still there, buddy? Yeah, there you are, Wall Street Warlord. You know what I'm talking about. You've been gone for so long. I am just like, wow, are you really here? Yeah, have a sneak peek, see what's going on. Lots of people coming in right now. That's great. For those of you dropping tickers, we're not going to be able to get to them, as I was just saying. We've got our show packed, and we're not going to get to it all if I don't get going. So we're going to jump on into this. I've got my nasty glasses on, so you're going to see glare. They're flat. If you see all the markings, I didn't get into a fight. I was playing with my big dog with a long sleeve shirt. She got the better of me, but it was fun. All right, let's jump on into this then. Starting with the very first one. This came from, I can't even see that. Oh,
Twitter.
This came from Twitter. That's right. I got my one and only request. Who gave this to me? I do want to remember your names. X. This came from my Twitter account, and their name is X on X. So we're taking a look at BNED, Barnes and Noble Education. She's on the New York Stock Exchange. Great place for a penny stock to be. You don't have to put up with all the BS as you do down on the OTC because it's centralized. That means people are watching all the time. Plus, you get to trade at pre-market, aftermarket. Never get to do that with OTC. Big gains, especially pre-market. We see some big jumps going on there. And they're free to trade. Can't complain about that. Finished the day at about 23.5 cents. Dropped a little bit today, 3.7%. All right. First thing, let's talk about what the company does. You know what Barnes & Nobles is, right? That's a book company. Well, Barnes & Noble Education is a books company that provides books to colleges, universities, campuses, and they do it online. They do it through brick and mortar. They actually sell equipment to sell that stuff. So if you have a store, don't get confused. And I don't want you to jump to the conclusion that they have online education. No. That would be in the strictest of conflict with their business. They sell books. So if they started doing education online, who would need their books? So they don't do that. They educate about other things in the business they're in, but they don't educate like colleges and universities do. What other information did I gather up here? Hopefully all my highlights stay. I had them all wiped out, and I got 34 pages here. So hopefully they stick. All right, we have got two pieces of news I want to take a look at here. Barnes & Noble Education announces milestone transactions to significantly strengthen balance sheet and advance industry. And then They have adopted short-term stockholder rights. Which one do I have first up here? I have the deal. The company is to receive $95 million in new capital. That is going to be $50 million in an equity investment and then $45 million from a rights offering. Now I'm going to come back here, but I want to jump over to that rights offering because that's the other piece of news. I don't have to tell you too much about this, except that rights are like warrants, except they work on the other end. Warrants you buy now, and they're coupons to buy shares at cheap prices 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Rights are like warrants. They're a coupon to buy a share of the stock cheap, but in the front door sometime in the next few months. Well, they're putting $45 million of those on the market. So they're going to make $45 million. Sound good to you? I don't care. You can't use it. Look at the stipulation. The rights will be exercisable only if a person or group acquires 10% or more of the company. What? Who's going to buy 10% of the company? A new investor, and they're going to have to file a 13D or G. So this really has nothing to do with us. It is news, but it's outside of our range. Now, on top of that, they are getting $50 million, going to make $45 million from the rights. And then the rights are going to stimulate more purchases. They're going to get more money when people start exercising them. And they believe that will infuse a total of $75 million more dollars. So I'm not quite sure how much that's adding up to. We're over $150 million there. They are also eliminating $34 million worth of debt. And they have secured refinancing for a 4-year lease on a facility. The first lien holders are providing the company with access to a $325 million facility. They are getting access to it. What all the details are on that, I don't know. But there's your headlines right there. Let's take a look at the relative volume for the company for today. Well, she increased, not a whole bunch, but a lot more, if that makes any sense, jumping from 1.4 million to 2.4 million. Share structure for the company, that's not bad. Outstanding share count is only 53 million if these numbers are correct. They say they were as of February of this year. I don't know what the float is, but it won't be any higher than the outstanding share count, and it could be considerably less, but no less than 1 million because it's on the major exchange. It can't go under 1 million. Market cap for the company, we're at about 13 million. Financials for the company, whoa, they're making some money. Now, that's not millions, it's actually billions. We got to add 3 zeros to any numbers on any of the charts that we look at here. They were doing 1.8 billion 4 years ago. They've dropped a little over the last 3 years. They've been hovering about 1.5 billion, and they're getting to bring home about 1/5 of that in profit. They got to bring home about 350 million. Quarterlies, wow. All right, they're kind of all over the place. They had a real strong quarter just before the last one here in January. They were up to 610 million in 3 months. They did 456 million in 3 months the last quarter, which is just shy of $500 million. So it's pretty good, steady business. But think about it. Colleges are still doing business. However, it is in peril. There is huge market influx right now for online education ever since COVID. We became aware of how we could still exist without having to go everywhere to do what we were doing. And a lot of people are going online, and it's a lot cheaper. And you can still get the paper that you had to pay for before 3 or 4 times as much. So this company may start dwindling. If book sales start falling because people aren't going to school, you have to consider that. Taking a look at the balance sheet for the company, got about 8 million in the bank, 1.1 billion in assets, 1.05 billion in liabilities. So we get a little bit of stockholder equity. It's not chump change. It is $97 million that we have in stockholder equity in this company. I believe we've already looked at the disclosures. If there was anything there, yeah, we pulled those 2 up there.
Was there not anything significant this week, like Monday or Tuesday, the 15th, 16th?
15th or 16th. Let's see. The
Just
16th.
a couple days ago.
Yeah, we had the balance sheet come out, which was telling us about all the money that was coming into the company, telling us about the rights, about the investment, and about securing that facility. That came out on the 16th.
All right.
And that's it. We didn't have anything for 2 weeks. Fiscal report was the last one we had before that. Let's take a look at that chart then.
All right. Well, this is what, these are regular candles here. So we have this
Oh,
crazy gap here. Okay. So it closed that day at around 60, let's see, around 60, 69 cents, give or take. And then it dropped and opened back up the next day at around 23 cents. So that's, almost 2/3 it went away. It just
and,
dropped
and
like a
that
rock.
was on the 15th to the 16th.
Yes.
So it was before the news came out.
Yes, this is crazy. So you can't
Yeah.
really see it as much on Heikinashi. So, we closed at around 69 cents, opened the next
Oh,
day at
you can
around
see it.
23
You
cents.
see a big red bar that looks a mile
Yeah, but
long. You
that's
get
why
the
I went to the regular candles because you just see this and you can't tell if that was just a gap down or a regular, it just had a bad day, a
well, in
really
either
bad
case,
day.
it's the same result. And I
Correct.
can't understand why it's down there and why it didn't bounce back the next day when the good
Yeah.
news came out. That's all good news. I don't see anything bad in that piece of news. So I
Yeah,
don't get it.
so that day on Tuesday, it actually hit its 52-week low at 18 cents. So I marked that down here. Its 52-week high was not that long ago. This was in
Wow.
January, it was earlier this year at 226. So, we had a gap down here in March from, let's see, 90 cents to open the next day like 73 cents. But see this gap here, there's one here, and then there's a big one here. So that is not looking very good. I don't really understand why, if that was the only news. So, I mean, you have to pay attention to things like this because this is,
I see a
obviously
piece of news that you may want to go read.
significant.
I can't read it. It's on the 22nd of January. After the Department of Education scare, why I'm tripling down on Barnes and Noble. There's an article there. I haven't read it there. I don't know what the Department of Education said. As I said, there possibly could be a problem because they were talking about these educational places are losing a lot of business right now. People aren't coming because they have options, lots of options online. So there could be something going on right now because when a stock hits a 52-week low, if it has value, this has got $92 million worth of equity. They're making over $1 billion a year. Looks solid. You would expect it to bounce. You'd think that is a for
Yeah.
sale sign. But
So
if you don't
from the
keep
52-week low, we're now at about 20% above that, which is actually a lot, but that's from the very, very bottom, that 18
yeah.
cents.
So I'm concerned for the company. Personally, I wouldn't put my money into it because it's just got too much competition now with online.
There's your hourly. It's just a big giant bear flag. I mean, there's really nothing. There's all there is to it.
What's the short chart look like?
Well, that's 1 hour. So here's 15
Oh,
minutes.
yeah. So she's consolidating and she isn't. The only thing I would think is waiting for that 200 day to get close enough to make an attempt. Right now, she's just going sideways.
Pretty far. Yeah, we're going sideways. So, I mean, this is the floor right here. We haven't gone below that. That was from the first day that we had that big dip. And we're just kind of hovering in this like about 21 to 26 cents consolidation range.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think she's going to stay going flat until the 200 comes. And I'm thinking she's going to keep going flat and ignore the 200. That's
Okay.
my projected guess. It's only a guess.
Yeah. Well, that's about it for that.
Amen. All right, I love this because now I have so many windows. My Windows tabs are so small that I can barely see the mark, and if I hit it, I close it. If I hit it wrong, so I get to close these now and actually save on room. All right, we are now looking at the first one requested on the chat here, GTVH. I forget who this came from. Brian, thank you, Taylor. This is Golden Triangle Ventures, really cheap right now, 0006. She's on the pink tier, the bottom tier, the riskiest tier. No validated information down there unless you see 2 green ticks. That's validated information. And in most cases, unless they've opted to use the 10K financial form and they're not using the disclosures, that's the only validated information you'll get. So if you don't even see these, you have no validated information. That's like loaning somebody money through a hole in the wall. Good luck getting that money back. Be careful. So what is Golden Triangle all about? All right, let's see if I can get my memory back in place here. All right. the company has multi-divisions, and I've lost all my highlights, you little buggers. All right, they've got global health services here. They work through Golden Triangle Ventures for that. This is actually working with hemp and CBDs. They've got Lavish Entertainment, and this seems to be the one that most of their news is wrapped around right now. This seems to be where they're putting most of their effort. I understand that. There's a lot of competition in hemp and CB, and we're kind of tired of it. But entertainment, you never get tired of. Lavish Entertainment is a wholly owned subsidiary of Golden Triangle Ventures under the entertainment division, operating out of Las Vegas, Nevada. The company started doing business in 2017. The company currently has more than 30,000 national followers and nearly 100 team members, which have helped the company successfully organize some of the most exciting electronic dance music concerts. They call these raves. That's what they're building here, folks, raves. The company is building an immersive virtual reality platform to help monetize on these live streamed concerts. These raves have got live music, not just, the one track going over and over again for an hour. They've got live music, and they're going to put it online. They're going to put it in the metaverse, not just online. You're going to be engrossed. You're going to be able to turn around and see people watching it with you. You're going to see the Pepsi stand over there in the corner and who's playing up on stage. So they're doing that. Another one of their divisions is Electron Advisors. Golden Triangle Ventures has fostered a compelling partnership with Electron Advisors as an intricate factor in marketing general quality clientele for green microgrid projects. Their technology is a state-of-the-art smart energy system that combines several market-proven technologies. And I did have something highlighted here about what this company's purpose was. Electron Advisors has authorized Golden Triangle Ventures to market Electron drive technology and build its own sales team to expand the company's outreach efforts. High Frontier Technology, Golden Triangle Ventures owns 100% of this. This is a special type of oxygen, hydrogen, water. It's like hydrogen peroxide. That's all it is. It's oxygen and water. You put extra oxygen into it, it's extra oxygenated water. And they're doing this with CO2. The plants love it, and you help them out. And then they've got one other one here, Sounder Fulfillment. This is a wholly owned subsidiary which provides synergistic benefits. As far as I can tell, this is their R&D. This is the one helping all the other ones here. Now, taking a look at the news, you're going to see that most of their news now is wrapped around this Destino Ranch. They've got lots of news here, how they're acquiring the property. They are developing it. They're moving forward with it. Matter of fact, I think I had a couple filings over here. On January 30th, Golden Triangle Ventures announced it has launched the development of Destino Ranch, an immersive entertainment venue under its entertainment division. On the 8th, the company announced that it activated phase 1 of Destino Ranch development. On the 13th of March, they announced they had executed a purchase agreement to acquire approximately 70 acres of prime improved land for the ranch. And on the 19th, Lavish Entertainment announced that it has retained Cayenne Consulting to assist Destino Ranch project in their business planning. Everything is wrapped around this right now. And the last piece of news is about an acquisition, which is the last piece of news that was actually up there at the top. The one thing that didn't have to do with Destino Ranch. Lavish Entertainment expands presence in event production industry through the acquisition of ABI Create. The company has completed full acquisition of ABI Create, a premier event management and production firm. This is probably going to help them with Destino. They're helping them produce all of these things. Create has delivered high-quality productions for a range of large-scale installations at major music festivals, including sporting events and conventions across the United States, notably the NFL Super Bowl, San Diego and New York Comic Con, and a whole bunch more here. This acquisition will transition ABI Create into a wholly owned subsidiary of Lavish Entertainment and bolster its position in the entertainment industry. The acquisition of ABI Create sets the stage for us to begin showcasing all other synergistic divisions. And I thought I had something highlighted here about when this was Nope, I don't see it. So that's the catalyst right now. This came out on the 11th, so we're still a week back. So we don't have anything right now. Relative volume for the company. Wow, way down. Dropped from 34 million as an average over the last 30 days down to about 11 million today. Share structure, outstanding is about 3/4 billion. Of that 3/4 billion, the insiders own a mere 20 million. We get all the rest, 738. We got 3/4 billion as well. That's a lot. And with all them shares, you'd think we'd have a higher market cap, but with the price that low, and that's all the market cap is taking the shares outstanding and multiplying it times the price. $455,000, not even a half a million yet. Oh, nope, financials is what I wanted. That's not looking good. Over the last 4 years, it has been falling steadily from 1.4 million all the way down to 132,000. They are bringing home some gains out of that. Most of that money they're getting to keep. Quarterlies, let's see here. Well, adding that up real quick in my mind, that's under that. So the last 12 months are running behind. So they're still falling in their revenues right now. Balance sheet, not much in the bank, $70,000. They got about 13 million in assets. Ooh, surprising. They got less liabilities, about 9.3. So we're actually holding stockholder equity in this company, about 3.5 million. And again, I just a habit to jump on over here. There are no filings to consider, and all of their financials are current. So that's really all we got going on here. And I don't know what this chart looks like. She is breaking the 0005 zone, which is when I would start to look at it. All right, Taylor, that's on you.
All right, so I just marked off. This is kind of a barcodey one. I don't know if you can tell. So we're in the 000 area. It's not too bad though. So I marked off a couple of areas like the 0003. That looks like what's our bottom here. It really hasn't gone below that, so I guess that's good.
Not much more to go below that.
There's not much more, right? Well, I've seen them go pretty low. We'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to see one that went a lot lower than 0001.
Exactly. So here's 0005, where it seems like we've gotten some support here, but this is only just a matter of days. So I also marked off your favorite 001. So what's notable about that is once we get above that 001, it seems to at least pop a little bit. So this was a lot. This went all the way up to 0025. So that's like, what, 250% gain there.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And then this one went up to 0013-ish. So that's, a 30% gain. Pretty good. So right now we're kind of in that like, yeah, not bad. Yeah. So we're kind of in this middle zone where, as you can see, this is back, end of January up until March. We kind of consolidated in between there, kind of just in this area of 0006 to 0008, kind of just hung out there. We did fall below that 0005, went to the 0003, and now that we're above that, I'd like to see this. If you're bullish on this, I'd like to see it go above that 001, of course.
I think I'm like 60% bullish, 60% bullish on this. She looks like she wants to get back to that 001. And like you said, she gets cocky when she gets up there. She starts showing off her muscle.
So this is the 1 hour, and it looks a little cleaner here because you can see support here, the 0005. So now we're kind of in this like gray area where it's just going to hang out as what I would predict it to do until we can pick a direction, if it's going to go above here or if it's going to fall back down here to that 0003. But if it does fall back down to this 0003, I would imagine that would be a good place to pick some up if you're interested in this one.
I take it that purple line is your 200?
It is, yes.
So she's actually just hugging that 200, which shows she doesn't want to fall, but she's got to wait for these SMAs. That 50's beating her in the head right now.
Right.
So what if she can go sideways, and it looks like she's actually trying to fight it. I may actually be 70% bullish on this.
Yeah.
I would definitely consider this worthy because, as you said, once she hits that 001, you could see a pop, and you want to be in before the pop. You don't want to wait until she hits 001. But of course, you don't want to make all your buy, because if it falls right now from 0003, you'd lose 1/3 of your money going down to 002. You got to be careful of that.
Yeah, that's the double-edged sword with these 000 ones. One quadruple
One
zero
tick.
one.
One
Yeah,
tick.
one tick is going to just make or break you. It could. So just remember to scale in and scale out when you're in things like this. But yeah, that's about it for that one.
What's the 5 minute look like? Is it
5
a
minutes.
bar chart, barcode?
Yeah, it's kind of more barcodey.
Ah,
So that's
she's
what.
showing. It's just a magnification. It looks like she's bouncing. She's hit that support many times,
It
and she
has.
has gotten on top of the 50.
That's that
Definitely,
005.
definitely worth putting on your watch list because these
Yeah.
gains down here can be pretty incredible. All right, I'm
I
ready for.
wonder how hard is it to get out when it's up here? Because I would imagine this is the, this is difficult to be able to sell this when it's up here. Probably wouldn't be able to sell it until it's like 0006 because who is buying it when it's hitting this 0007 when it comes all the way back down to this 0005. I mean that's a lot percentage wise.
Uh, there's always somebody there. It's
Yeah.
like warrants. It goes from 2 cents to 10 cents. Who's going to pay 10 cents for the ask?
Yeah,
Boom! It
that's
just
what
went up
I'm asking.
500%.
Yeah,
Somebody bought it.
it's interesting. Okay, well we'll keep an eye on this one. Good one.
All right, I'm ready for the next one. And who gave me this? Well, I'm sure Taylor will bring it up here in a second.
Got it.
This, oh, Mr. Fuchs. That's how I pronounce it. Roy L. Fuchs brought us AGFY. This is Agrify Corporation. This is a company that works in the twig industry. I have to be very cautious with my words. The YouTube people have a bot that writes subtitles for you. They know every word you say. You say the word, you get put into a category of no earnings. I hate that. You'd be amazed how many of my live streams have gone into that category and I just get nothing for them. Not that I make a lot, but you don't want to throw anything away, do you? So this company, as I said, is into twigs, except not really. The company is primarily into equipment. But before I get ahead of myself, Agrify Corporation finished today just at under 30 cents, 29 and a half. Dropped a lot today, almost 19%. She is on the major exchange. She comes with all those benefits we talked about before. Now, as I said, the company primarily works with equipment, but they also do extraction. Extraction getting CBDs, THCs, and you can break down the CBDs into hundreds of different CBDs that each do something, and every one of them is a product. Agrify Corporation develops precision hardware and software, cultivation and extraction solutions for the twig and hemp industry in the United States. The company offers vertical farming units and Agrify Insight software as a service software. Now, they sell everything. The LED grow lights, the air cleaners, surface protection. Just to give you a better idea, over here is their website. There's their factory right there. This is a unit, but you'll get a better idea looking down here as these things come by. They work with the stackable units that you can grow twigs in so that you can multiply your square footage. The companies out there who are cultivating, they produce a certain amount of grams per square foot, which is two-dimensional. That is on the ground. We are now going up. It becomes cubical. So they get more growth per square foot. So you are getting a lot more out of these. And believe it or not, these things don't have to grow 6 foot, 10 foot. You can grow these plants just up to 3 foot and get a couple pounds off of each plant. And as you've probably been looking at the pictures go by, they work with extraction too. So they sell these big units. They sell all these various types of extraction units, and there are lots of extraction. Some people use butane. Some people use shearing of water. Some people use nitrogen, carbon. There's all kinds of ways to leach the oils out of the twigs and the hemp. And depending on which way you go, they say you get this or that advantage from it. And then they've got post-processing, which is creating your products. Maybe you want to make a film that goes underneath the tongue. They've got a machine for that. Maybe you want to make a tablet. They got a machine for that. They do all of that. That's their business right there. So let's see what sort of information I got here. Well, how about the biggest? Let's just jump into the biggest because this is what's going on. This piece of news came out yesterday. Nature's Miracle Holdings and Agrify Corporation agree to merge. Actually, the one company is taking over Agrify. Nature Miracle Holdings Inc. and Agrify agree to merge. The combined entity is expected to become the leading provider of CEA products and solutions. Off the top of my head, I don't know what CEA stands for. Agrify brings industry-leading cultivation and extraction solution services, immediately realizable financial and operation synergies. The two companies do a lot of the same things, so they're going to be able to get rid of those redundancies. That's going to save them money, and then they're going to merge their technologies and actually start making more money. They tell us here that Nature Miracle announced that it has entered into a term sheet to acquire 100% of Agrify. When closed, the strategic acquisition of Agrify is expected to bring meaningful revenue stream for Nature Miracle through Agrify's powerful software as a service and AI technology, which can be applied to Nature Miracle's vertical farming business. Boy, hand in hand, right? This company sells the equipment for what this company does. They can get as much of it as they want, really build themselves out. While its leading market share in twig extraction continues to drive revenue growth. The transaction is expected to close within 6 months of this announcement. So there's your window. No guarantees. You know bloody well there's no guarantees, but that's what they tell us. Now, I got a couple more windows here, so I must have more information. I do. So there's a bunch of filings that all back this up. This is a Form 4. Form 4s are filed when the insiders acquire shares of the company stock. Now, they can do that in a lot of ways, but we're always interested when they buy them or sell them. That says something. Well, this is a purchase, a big purchase. This is Chang Raymond Nobu. He's the CEO and chairman. He just bought, now you can see it. That code tells you P for purchase, S for sale. Anything else is something else. You want to know what that something else is? Just come down here and they'll probably tell you. Now, that big purchase right there of about, let's just call it under 2 million shares, they're pretty close, correlates to another filing. This is a 13D. This is a new ownership. Well, look here. It's the same guy, the CEO. Why? Because he's now in charge of the new company. He is president of the new company. He has just bought out his old company. That's what you got going on here. 49.99%. And if you go down through here, there's a few more. His wife has bought some. That is part of the deal. There's a few things going on here. In other words, it's a big deal. It's a change of It's not a change of operations. It's not even a change of management. It is just a huge merger. This is the company they are merging with, NMHI. NMHI does not have any revenues. They want us. I guess they really want us. Balance sheet for this company, they're light. They got $37 million in assets, $3 million in liabilities. What the heck is going on there? It says we're holding that liability. Tangible assets haven't moved over yet. Maybe the merger needs to occur. I don't know what's going on here. I don't understand that. It looks like we should have $34 million in assets here. Maybe we do, and I'm just not reading it right. So this company... Now, the one thing I was not able to figure out, which ticker are they going to use? Are they going to keep both tickers? Are each company just going to continue running and operating separately? That's not what a merger is. So I have no clue. They did not mention it anywhere here. And I really went through it with the magnifying glass to see if I could find a ticker, a date, a switch, what market. No, they don't talk about any of that. We just know it is happening. They've got some more details here, but I don't see anything even about what it's worth, what the value of the deal is. But that's what you got going on. Relative volume around that news, well, she's jumped from about 750 million up to 2.5 million. That's not bad. That's 300% increase in volume. Share structure, every now and then I'll get my math wrong. Please don't correct me. I always see it myself after I watch these, so I know. Outstanding share count is really low. Now, I am presuming that they had a reverse stock split. I was trying to get around, but when I'm looking at so many stocks for this show, I can only dive so deep before I got to back out because I got another one to look at. I couldn't actually find it, but I've got to presume with only 1.7 million shares, they did a reverse stock split. You want to tell me what that was, you can do that. Throw that in the comments. I'll appreciate that. Market cap, super duper low because we don't have any shares. Price isn't too bad. It's up there at 30 cents, but we've only got 1 million and 700,000 shares. So we have just over 500,000 in market cap. This company is making money. Now, they got strong during the COVID operation here. They were not too big in 2020. Well, compared to now, they are okay. 12 million. During COVID, they jumped up to 59 million. This is when cannabis became essential business, meaning when all the other business were closed down, cannabis was allowed to continue operating. So
Twigs, yeah.
Oh, busted again. Okay, bing. So we're just going to say it now. If I've already said it once, it doesn't matter. So the twig industry blossomed because it became essential. Cities were making money off of it while other business weren't doing any business. So they weren't making any taxes. 2022, they did 58 million and then they dropped hard. I don't know why. We're down to 16.8. Now, if I was to presume why they dropped, we've had the twig sector for just under 10 years now. Well, it's built out. The laws still have to catch up. The world's still catching up. But here, where we're selling that equipment, we've got big companies that already have their extraction equipment, already have their grow houses, already built out. They don't need no more equipment. Who are they going to sell their equipment to? New companies. So I don't know how much new business they're going to get until laws change. When laws change, all of a sudden it's going to get exciting. We're going to start seeing them pop up. Probably. But that's just food for thought, just a consideration. Balance sheet for this company. Not much money in the bank, 430,000. Lots of assets, 45 million. Even more liabilities, 60 million. So we've got stockholder deficit here of 15 million. Now, if the other company does have 34 million in stockholder equity and we've got 15 million of stockholder deficit over here, the merger should swing the books back into the red. I would think. I'm just, again, throwing some numbers together with some cold math. Let's see, financials disclosures. We've probably already covered all this. Their financials just came out. If you really want to look into them, they filed late. It'll be interesting. I'm going to look at the chart and see. A lot of companies, when they file an NT10K, which is not, just think of this as an abbreviation. We're not filing our financial on time. An annual, you get 15 extra days to get it done. A quarterly, you get 5 days. A lot of companies get a run when they file an NT. And I think a lot of companies file an NT before their financials when their financials are going to be bad because the NT, for some reason, stimulates the market and it climbs. 5 days later, they're on time to get their financials out, and it's not that good. I'm just thinking out loud again here. So they got out in time. No, late. Nope. Perfect on time, right? From the 1st to the 15th. Exactly on time. So that's pretty much all the information for Agrify. We got a big merger, and the only question I have is, are both companies going to keep both tickers, or are we going to swing one way or the other? What's going on there? All right, let's take a look at the chart.
Okay, so I'm going to zoom in, don't worry, but I just want to point out, if you just pull this up on the daily chart and you look up here and you're like, oh, less than 2 years ago, we were at $700. That is not accurate, because look down here, we've had 1, 2 reverse splits. So keep that in mind if you're looking at these charts. This is not
who aren't aware, we're used to seeing a big green bar on the day of a reverse split, and sometimes you'll see it for a day or two. Then they pull it away, and what they do is everything behind the reverse split, they multiply by the ratio of whatever the split is. If it was 1 in 100 and the high was $2 that day, now it looks like the high was 200 when it never was.
It never was. So please don't look at this thinking, oh yeah, it's going to go back to
do your reverse math.
Yeah, you'll have to do the math. So let me zoom in here. So this is much different, as you can tell. This is the 4-hour chart. So we're looking at, about March up until, this is like a month, beginning March to mid-April, kind of in this consolidation area, but, always going down. Okay, so this is about 35 to 45 cents, give or take. So zoom in here. This was kind of a support area. You see it hit it several times. And then once it fell, it hit a low of about 25 cents. Now we're kind of in the middle of that, between 25 and 35 cents. But we did have this big pop. I'm not sure what that was. I
have a theory. about that. I call that a directional intentional spike.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it come from a low spot and the big bar stop before the 200 and it spits a spike out way over the 200, that is setting up for a breakout because that's helping to pull the 200 up. So, and the next thing, the next bar cannot fall any lower than where it started from. That to me says now it is looking for an opportunity to break out, and that opportunity is when the 200 goes level. There's a 90% chance when you see a directional intentional spike helping tug that 200 flat, it's creating its own opportunity. That's the way I see it.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
it, it did come back down. It did hit the support. Now we did have a tail come down to like 25, 26 cents. But we're kind of in the middle of that. I'd like to see this, like you said, get flat, and then maybe we
Yeah.
can see it again. But we
Yeah, it
did
doesn't
have,
help if it starts coming deeper. That just, that
yeah.
counteracts everything it just did.
So here's the 1 hour. You can see that looks a little better there. I don't know what happened that day. All of this, by the way, was pre-market hours. If it's in this brown shaded area, so this is pre-market. So
How
that
big of a
happened.
jump was that?
So it went from
Roughly.
29 cents to about 59 cents. So
Roughly
about double.
100%.
Mm-hmm. That was the very absolute high, though. So very
Yeah,
hard to get
well, we're not,
sell at the
everybody
tippy top.
knows nobody catches the top, but
Yeah.
that's what you could have worked with.
Yeah, but the bars, still went to, in the 44, 45 cent range, which was in this shaded area that I had from before.
And
But then it
easily
just
accessible
decided
for
to
gains.
fall. Hmm?
That's easily accessible for gains, that 4 spot.
Oh yeah. Oh
You just
yeah.
had to be there, and there's not as many people pre-market as you'd think.
Yeah, that's what's interesting here. So, yeah, it did come up there and kind of in that in between area. So I have these two marked off.
I actually like the way she looks. She looks like she is regressing back to that strong support that she jumped from. I,
Hmm.
again, it's not a lot of heat, but it's a precarious setup that she could spring. Again, who knows for what reason, but we don't need a reason. All we need is to catch it when it happens. So
Yeah,
it's
and
in
that
the
was just
same
yesterday that happened. So, I mean, whatever that
yes,
news was, we could still be riding on that. You can tell that it kind of jumped up a little bit after hours. So this blue shaded area is like the after hours. So right now we're at almost 30 cents
yeah, I'm
again from
thinking with the deal
26.
just happening, this is an opportunity. This is a good
Hmm.
company. They're going with another company that's already in business. And let's face it, they do this so they can use any of the equipment this new company has and they can expand
Hmm.
their business for cheap, real cheap. So this could be a very good opportunity to get in because they're merging. And once laws change here, every company in the US is going to fly. I'm telling you, folks, even bad companies are going to fly. That's just going to be the way it is when the laws change. People are going to go for the cheapest, and a lot of the cheapest aren't good. They just aren't. We got a lot of good cheap ones, but the cheapest aren't. That's why
Yeah.
they're the cheapest.
And
Well,
this is on the NASDAQ, so we can trade that one easier.
this one's pretty bloody. This one's pretty bloody cheap. So
Yeah.
it's definitely worth doing some more due diligence if you're looking at the twig market and you're looking for a stock that is going to have a lot of growth. This could be an interesting one to consider.
Okay.
All right, next one. Who gave me D-Lock?
Jerome.
Jerome Horace. Thank you, Jerome. Digital locations. Digital locations, ticker DLOC, finished today at 0025. She fell just about 4%, which isn't much. That was only 0001. That's how far she fell. She's on the pink tier current. She's got some of that verified information, a transfer agent, and they tell us she's a shell risk, that she's in business doing something, but she's not reporting any revenues. So what is it this company does? Well, I was going to read this until I started doing some more research. And that's what you got to do. You just can't trust this. This can be outdated. And I think it is. They tell us here that they are the developers of cell tower sites for 5G revolution and that they are building these and that they need a lot of them. I mean, a lot, because the 5G signal does not go any further than 100 meters. Folks, can you imagine a tower every 100 meters across our country? That would be disgusting. That would
Yeah.
be ugly. Yeah, there's got to be a better way to do it. And then when you get in the city, you can't put up a tower, so you got to put up boxes everywhere. No, no. What's the common sense way to do it? Low orbiting satellites. And that's exactly what it looks like we're doing now. All the news doesn't talk about any towers. All they talk about is satellite breakthrough, being able now to connect to your smartphone so that you can get internet on your smartphone anywhere you are, anywhere in the world, in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the ocean, in your home. It doesn't matter. And everybody will pay the same price for it. And it's supposed to be a heck of a lot better. They say that you can do this with all sorts of stuff right here. Satina will finally make it possible for the satellite industry to offer high-speed internet service from satellites directly to smartphones anywhere in the world with no dead zones, no cell towers. Cell towers, bye-bye. All those businesses are going to go away. Anyone, anywhere, regardless of location, economic status, race, or gender, will be able to access high-speed internet service and benefit from the remote learning, healthcare, government services, remote work, blah, 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 including Netflix, Amazon. Now you're talking streaming. That was the first thing anybody says, but can I watch a movie? Can I watch my sporting events? Can I watch a concert? Seemingly so, folks. And this company is getting involved with that. To what end? Well, over here is their news. Instead of making every single one yellow, I just marked the beginning and the end because it's all important here. Looking back, I've only got 5 pieces of news here. That doesn't mean that's all they got. Go searching in other places like Google or their website. You may find more news. Digital Location announces Satina, a satellite to smartphone antenna breakthrough. The company's CEO, Richard Berler, discussed future of 6G wireless technology with top industry experts. 6G is completely different. And understand, folks, this 5G is very important. It's not about the consumers. That is the bottom rung of what 5G can do. Streaming stuff, all that. Yeah, that's a benefit, but that's not what it's for. It's so that machines can speak to machines, so that our autonomous vehicles can work anywhere without a tower. You could be driving along and there's no tower here. Your autonomous vehicle has no instructions because there's no message, no frequency coming in. From the satellite, you would always have that. And another thing, I did read some stuff about 6G wireless, which wasn't as, it sounded a little dangerous. The 6G wireless mesh does something to the oxygen that's around it. It depletes the oxygen. They're still working on it. So, you got to do your DD to see what new technology is about. There's a reason that we are running to it as fast as we possibly could. Let's see here. The CEO discusses communication challenges in remote agricultural settings. They talk about this being able to help monitor and fight wildfires. And now the mobile party. They've got all these things. I mean, once you get the ability for the internet to be brought to you from a satellite, anything that goes to the internet can be done. So you can help any industry. I mean, it's just endless. So, he's talking about, we could help you with this, we could help you with that. Now, I haven't gone into this deep to see if they own satellites or blah, blah, blah. I don't know about all of that. I don't have time to get deep. So this one is worth looking at because this is where the world's going. There's a couple companies out there that are building low orbiting satellites so that you don't have the latency problem. The ones way the heck out there, it takes too long. You're waiting for the information to come back and it just doesn't work. There, you have Elon Musk doing it. I can't remember that other company. And they've got some up. I think India's already covered. They've got this service available to them. So again, it's something you'll want to look into. Checking out the relative volume for the company, less than half of what she's normally doing, dropping from 2.5 million down to 1.1. Share structure, 733 million outstanding. Ooh, insiders only own about 10 million. We got all the rest. So we have about $750 million here. Financials for this company. Cell towers aren't making much money, are they? They were doing no more than 25,000. But wait a minute. How do you put up cell towers and not have, unless they're licensing cell towers out that are already built? They could be making money that way, which is a way a lot of cell towers are. It's not about building them. It's building them so you can lease them, make money on them over and over again. like billboards on the expressways. Quarterlies, they're not making much and they're not having to pay for any that they're making. Balance sheet, they don't have much money, about $44,000. They don't have much assets either, about 48,000. Oh, got a lot of liabilities, relatively speaking. 3.2 million. Uh-oh. Got some extra numbers here. I don't know the math. I'd have to jump into it to find out. But look, stockholder equity has jumped way up there to 9.1 million. That's a lot of deficit to be holding in a company. Disclosures, we've already looked at, so I know we've covered all of this. Now, they call them shell risk, which means they're not showing any revenues. Well, they are. I don't know why that's there. I don't know if it's supposed to come down. But look, they've had revenues for an entire year. Maybe you have to have a certain amount of revenues. You know, they got, well, this is on the OTC. There's no criteria. All right, that's really all we can say about DLOC right now, except what's going on with that chart.
Okay, so when I started looking at this, I'm probably going to regret saying this, but this kind of reminds me of Toner a little bit, just in the chart. You can see it was way down here, consolidating way down here for a long time. This is the 4-hour chart, by the way.
And what's that price? Way down
This
there?
is between 0008 and 001. So I know
Okay.
you love the 001. So once it got above that, we were in between the 001, and when it hit 0015 is when it totally exploded, got to a high of 0038, so even more than what Toner did. And then after that, we came back down and retested, and then came back where it was. Very well, not quite as high, but really close. Like right here is 0033. You can see it went right to that. It's come up to it several times since. This was on Tuesday. This was just 2 days ago. It went all the way back up to 0037. So
It's a
now it's
very
kind of in
organized
this.
chart. I mean, it's acting
Yeah.
properly. It's doing good.
Yeah, it's
It
very
makes it more
similar to what it was.
predictable.
Yeah, so right now it's kind of just been, sideways with these little pops, which is great. I mean, if you're day trading this would be a really fun one to be
Yeah,
in.
right now, if you're a day trader, if you look at that 50, she dips under the 50, climbs, dips under the 50, climbs.
Uh-huh.
She's dipping under the 50 right now. I'd be
Uh-huh.
looking for the climb.
Yeah, so this right here looks like a decent support area. It goes below it and
Mhm.
then comes back.
Yep.
It's very close to where the 50 is, like you said. This is 0025, and the 50 currently is at 0027. So that's pretty close. So yeah, this is now it's kind of sideways, but it is hanging on to this area, this 0025. So I like this. For these little pops here. Like, let's go down to the 15 minutes. See where, yeah, see, look at this. So, we're hanging out here with the 0025, and then it'll pop up here to like this 0038. So that's, what, I'm not sure what the percent, almost 50%, 30, 50%.
Yep.
Pretty good. Yeah. So, and this is all during the day. This isn't some kind of
Yeah, to
after
me
hours
that looks
thing.
predictable. She's doing normal
Hmm.
things. She has patterns. She has supports and resistances. So we have probabilities. And that's really what it's about. What's the probability of her climbing with this setup? Ooh, 8 out of 10. Worth a
Hmm.
watch. So I think she's in the right zone right now,
Yeah.
and it's not like there's bad news for the company. I have to kind of remind myself what we were just looking
Yeah.
at. I mean, satellites with low orbits, to me, is an early market. It's an early market. Nobody's taken over yet. There are no winners yet. We're
Hmm.
still looking for leaders in this industry. And Elon Musk's, is Starlink out there yet? Have they put Starlink on the market yet?
Oh, I'm not sure about that,
I
but
don't
I
think
have.
Starlink's on the open market yet, which is which, because it's Elon's, it's going to have a lot of people go into it and it's probably going to get expensive. But again, he doesn't have full coverage yet. So I would do more due diligence. Look at all the companies working with LOW, low orbiting satellites for the internet and streaming. You may find this could be a very interesting company to get into.
Doesn't look like Starlink has IPO'd yet.
Okay. And it probably won't be cheap when it does.
Or maybe I'll dig into that in a little bit.
So that's the 15-minute chart there. So that's really the
Yeah.
basic day. That's the day trader's chart right there.
Yeah, this
And
is
you
it.
can
15
see a
minutes.
trend of higher highs. We've got higher highs going there right now, which is
Yeah,
kind of tempting.
here, here, and here.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
3 of them. So this was
And I like your oscullators. I can see down at the bottom, they are starting to curve up,
yeah,
starting to
this one
curve up.
here.
And that's all
This
we're
one
looking
is.
for is a little
So
bit
is
of
this
curve.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
they all are. So this is really interesting because we're right there at that bottom part. You can see when it hits that, comes up, hits that, comes up, hits that, comes up. Now we're right back there again. So I mean, if it's going to follow the pattern, I mean,
Right.
this is
Probability.
this probability. I'm not saying it's going to. It could just as easily fall back down here. But I mean, if you're going through the probabilities, there's pretty good chance that it's going to come back up above this
I
double
agree.
033. Yep.
I'm in agreement. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is a interesting one, folks. This is MRNJ, Metatron Inc. Now take notice of this price. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I swear to God, it had 5 zeros earlier today when I first looked at it. And there
It does.
Now, when you look at the chart, there's not going to be a whole lot for poor Taylor to look at with the chart here because she's been down so low. But notice it's on the open market. The absolute lowest you can buy a stock on the open market is 0001. I don't care what the price is. You cannot go below 0001. So what you see on the chart, which has confused many people, is zero. The price hits zero and you go, what the heck is a zero? There's no zero. You can just put another zero in front of the price and just keep pushing it out. No, when you have a price below 000 on the open market, it becomes worthless. Now, the strange thing here, and this is a dilemma, a quagmire. If you look at the chart, the ask is 0001. So you got to pay 10,000. Well, when I saw it, was that it had a 1 here. That was a 10,000% increase. You couldn't buy it at 501. You had to buy it at 0001, which you really don't notice. But what's scary is there's no bid, not available. You can't sell these yet. Well, how can anyone buy them at the floor 0001 if nobody wants to sell, if nobody can sell? So I don't understand what's going on there. So she is super duper cheap right now. If you want to buy her, you can buy her at 0001. That is the price. It is available, which is the absolute lowest price. You'll get 1 million shares for $100. If you wanted to just buy 1 million shares for $100 and just say, that's my lottery ticket, and just hold it and see what the hell happens, don't put your house on it because it's so cheap. They could do a reverse split, take all those shares. They could go to the expert market. They could disappear. You never know. They're down there for a reason. They're on the pink tier. They're current. They've got all their verified information. Don't look bad. All right. What I want to share with you here is not the news first. I want to tell you that this company says that they have a portfolio of over 1,000 mobile applications that have amassed millions in sales and downloads, with numerous offerings ascending to the top 20 rankings on app stores like Apple. Metatron is distinguishing itself in the marketplace as potentially the sole over-the-counter OTC traded company to offer a suite of live revenue-generating AI apps. Now, jumping over to their website, this is what they're focused on. I didn't know people still did this. Web properties. They have an ever-expanding collection of strategically acquired domain names. A domain name is this address up here, Amazon.com, Google.com, whatever address it is. And back during the internet bubble, people were buying names and just hanging on to them because somebody will want this name and I can sell it to them for $100,000 because it's the only name they want. And they're doing that still. Mobile apps, well, they just told you they got thousands of them representing millions in sales. I want you to remember that. They've just said that twice. Millions in sales. AI apps, our artificial intelligence application division, is engaged in developing AI-powered industry. We can expect something coming from this most likely. And then the NFT and the metaverse. Now, the thing of this is, being a store that has thousands of apps, you're going to have thousands of pieces of different news. A piece of news on that app, a piece of news on that app. And the big deal is that whatever trends are happening, those are the sort of apps coming out. So when you go all the way back here to 2021, crypto, blockchain, NFTs. All of this stuff was hot. Now, I want to jump here. Notice here, the company in October of 2022, I'm showing this to you for a reason, to fully cancel reverse split on file, negotiating a 12-month favorable terms with debt holders. Our most current piece of news up here, Metrotron pioneers AI-driven content discovery and issues reverse split moratorium. So I don't know if they have a habit of threatening us with the reverse split and then pulling it off the market, because a lot of times when you pull that threat away, people get excited. Whoa, we got away with that one. And it runs. Just telling them we're not going to do a reverse split inspires the stock to move. And we've seen that happen twice. Again, following the year, they've got apps for hydration tracking, launching their beta version of our artificial intelligence. That was back in 2022. Artificial intelligence back then. I don't remember it being an issue back then. AI chat service back in January of 2023. Really? Partners with AIcopy.com, joins forces with HempCoin. Not going to do the reverse split. And then some real news, not about an app. Metron Apps and AB International Group joined forces to launch AI enhanced movie streaming. A real business outside of just apps. In an initiative aimed at revolutionizing the global digital entertainment landscape, Metron Apps and AB International have accepted the international terms of collaboration via a letter of intent. Nothing signed, just talking about it and agreeing, yeah, we should go forward. Metatron Apps brings to the table a rich history of developing hundreds of mobile apps, with several achieving top 20 rankings on the Apple App Store. AB International Group contributes its streaming rights over 1,000 Chinese movies and TV shows. Well, that's going to be a limited market now. Okay, Chinese movies is all they've got. The two entities have agreed via letter of intent to develop a new innovative video streaming platform. This project seeks to harness Metatron's app and AI technical expertise alongside AB's International Group's expansive content catalog, launching a top-tier movie streaming service with the goal of becoming the next Netflix of China. Now, it's easy to pull these out, to be the next Amazon, to be the next, so they possibly could be. I don't know if 1,000 movies is enough, but Netflix only had so many movies when they started. They got bigger and bigger as they got bigger and bigger. So this could be something. You're going to have to do some more research. Now, there was something else I thought I saw here. Was there a date? No date here. And I don't have any other things poked here. So let's just take a look at that relative volume. Not a lot of excitement around that news. And when did that news come out? That came out February 27th. So it's been a while. We've had no fresh catalysts here. No fresh filings. Just to take a look. No, nothing since 2023. So there is no catalyst with this company. Relative volume dropped about 60%, going from 12.2 million down to 4 million. Oh, you weren't kidding. You said the OS was horrible. Yeah. The unrestricted shares, the floats is horrible as well. 15 billion shares outstanding. The nice part about this is the insiders own 1 billion of those shares. We get the other 14 billion. Now, one of the things I like about seeing insiders hold a lot of shares, they do a reverse split, their shares are hit too. They are too. So if they're holding a bag like we are, if they got in at one point and it's been falling for 2 years and they're not averaging down, that split's going to bust their butt as bad as it busts ours. So it's always a deterrent. If the insiders have a lot of shares, they would be forced to have to do it rather than just want to do it. Market cap for this company, we're at about 1.5 million. Financials. Now, what did I say? They were making millions of dollars. They said that twice. On the website, they just said that they were doing millions. They never mentioned the word dollars. Over here, they said amassed millions in sales. All right, they're not using the word dollars, but come on, folks. They're talking millions. Where's the millions? Where is the money? How old are these descriptions? So I see absolutely nothing here, which really bothers me. You go claiming that you're making millions of dollars, and I don't see a penny anywhere. That bothers me. Balance sheet. They got nothing in the bank. That's not exciting. They haven't had anything in the bank for a long time. Assets, they got something. Surprise, they got 1.2 million. Oh, their liabilities are low. Well, heck yeah, they don't own the apps. Somebody else made them. They just collected them. Doesn't cost anything to hold a digital product. 529,000. So we've actually got stockholder equity in this company that has no revenues, though they claim to be making millions. 728,000. And I do believe that is all we have to look at over here, folks. All their financials are caught up. They just had their annual report. Now, I'll tell you, all of the stocks we're looking at, I do look at the most recent financial, at least at the very bottom for subsequent events, just to see if there's anything that's happened that doesn't hit the news press, that wasn't mentioned anywhere else. So we see those often. I think I'm actually going to show you a couple here. So I didn't find anything in there, but that doesn't mean there's not good information in there. If you're going to do due diligence, start with the financial, then work out from there. That's about all I can tell you for MRNJ.
Okay, well, here's the chart. This bright yellow line is going to be your 0001. This up here is 0002, and this at the bottom is your 5 zeros with your 1 at the end. So you cannot trade this.
Nope.
This is not tradable. So you can see we have not. It hasn't since December. We haven't even gotten to that point. You can only buy this. So the last time it hit 0002, which is the only time you can really get any profit, is going to be the first week of December. So since then, it's just been, this is it. This is all we've been seeing.
You know what this looks like to me? Looks like a coffin with the barcode right on the side. This is how much it's going to cost you. That's a barcode on a coffin because it's got it's halfway in the grave right now.
Yeah, this is how you can buy it, 0001. So since December, we haven't even gotten above that.
Do you have a bid price on your screen?
No, because since we're after hours, it just says no trade. So your bid is going to be that 0001. It doesn't let you buy.
Oh, okay. On Thinkorswim, they still show you ask and bid. And it can get really stupid because somebody can throw in a price of $10 because they don't want their stock to be shorted. And if they put it in the queue as part of a sale, it can't be borrowed. So you get these big spreads after market because people are trying to protect shares. But on my chart, it says there's no bid price, 0. But you can buy it at 0001.
Yeah, and people are probably trying to get rid of it. So
there's no hope in that chart.
There's really nothing to say about this.
I'm surprised it's on the market.
Yeah, I mean, it's saying it's here, but there's really not even any buying.
If you do your research, this merger, the apps obviously, regardless of what they say they're making nothing on the apps. This deal could be something. Do some research. You're going to have to probably use Google, which will translate pages because most of the pages will probably be from China and they'll be slow to load. Let them load. Look up the company that they're merging with. See if they have a site. See what's going on. See what information you can get. If they are going to be the next Netflix of China, that would be huge. That would be gigantic, bigger than the Netflix of America. So it's worth due diligence at this price because you can buy 1 million shares for $100.
A
million shares. And
like you said, it's like a lottery ticket at this point, though.
Right, because we don't know. It hasn't shown any growth, but we got new deal on the table, new operations coming into the picture, and it's an unknown factor.
Yep.
All right. Well, yeah, that's about all you can say about that one. We're digging dirt now. All right. Next one we have is gold and gemstone mining, ticker GGSM, finished today at close to my favorite price, 0015. She was up today, up over 7%, which is 0001. That's all she moved, folks. Just one tick, one little tick. She's on the pink tier. She's current, got all her validated information. This is the best you're going to get unless they opted for the 10K financial. So what is this company about? Right. Okay. Don't let the name fool you, folks. They have nothing to do with mining or gemstones, not a thing. This company is into, well, first off, they work over in Indonesia, and there's a lot of islands over in that area, so they have a lot of boating. They have charting for tourism. They move cargo from island to island. That's what they tell us that they do. Now, the information I've got, we'll start over here. As I said, I like to jump into the annual reports just to see if there's anything not listed somewhere else. This wasn't listed anywhere else. October 12th, 2023, the company merged with and into Gold OK, which thereby became the successor issuer. The articles, bylaws, and designations of the Constitution and surviving entity Gold OK were identical. So not that it made any bloody difference, but the two companies have merged together. You may want to do some research on Gold OK. I don't know a thing about her. What did they bring to the table? Why did they merge with it? You may not find any information, but I wanted to point it out to you. We got two pieces of news here. They have been working on building up Mentawai, which is a division of charting. They're still working on building up their tourism industry over there. Gold Jebstone Mining announces acquisition of charter boat Serenaya. I don't know if I had any information here. Again, as I say, they're focused on tourism, and cargo is another factor over there. And they say they're buying some boats here. GSM recently acquired the Sarsana, a 10-passenger plus 4 crew member live board vessel. So it's one boat. It's not a huge yacht or anything. It's just a boat. But they're doing something, right? So what was the relative volume around this company today? Up. She went from 4.5 million to almost 8 million today. No telling with these stocks. Got a lot of shares, about 2 billion outstanding. Insiders own about 1/4 of them, 600 million. We get the rest, 1.3 billion shares. Always worry about reverse stock splits with these. When they get close to a penny, start showing some success, have been running for a few days. Lots of times the companies will pull the shares back in. Right now, the market cap, and they may too. I was just looking at that, the authorized share count. They've got virtually everything. They've got about 300,000 shares roughly left that they could do anything with. I doubt they can make a deal with another company. There's probably not enough there to pay them if they wanted to take pay with shares. So if they did a reverse split, all the shares would come back into their bank so that they had more to play with. Price would come up, put the stock in front of a different audience, which is what happened with the stock I shared with you yesterday, SINT. And I forgot to mention that in the video. That price was going to go up to $2, $3, $6, $9, depending if they do 100 to 300 reverse split. Well, that's going to put it in the NASDAQ in front of people that have never seen that stock before. And that could really get it ripped. And today she took off. She took off hard today. All right. So let's see what we got here. Market cap. We're at 2.7 million for this company. Are they making any money? They are, but it dropped hard. Over the last 4 years, they've been between 7 and 9 million. They just came down to 3 million roughly at the end of 2023. Please show us climbing in the quarterlies. Uh-oh. What happened there? Well, they were doing okay, about 3 million, and then it just stopped here. The very last quarter, there was nothing, and I don't know why. I would have to do some diving now to figure this out. All right, cash and cash equivalents. We got 2.4 million in the bank. Total assets, 8.7 million. What? No liabilities. Zero. Not
Nice.
1 penny in liabilities. Now, I love to see that, but that's not normal. There's always liability somewhere. You owe somebody something for something somewhere. We got nothing here. Great news is they're not playing any math games with us. It tells us that we get all of that, 8.7 million. But that's, this tells me that something's happening. They're either cleaning house for a change. They're either going away or bringing somebody in or something. I don't know, but that's not normal. But we do have 8.7 million on the table for stockholder equity. Just glancing over here, our annual report, that was out end of March, and we haven't had any filings since 2016. So really, that was the only information I could share with you outside of the news. There's nothing else to really look at here, folks, except the chart. Let's go take a look at that chart.
Oh, well, the chart's pretty interesting, actually. Oh, hold on. Here we go. So I noticed here we did have this initial pop. We were kind of, again, reminds me of toner a little bit, kind of just hanging out way down here. And we had this big initial pop at the middle of November. Came back down to support around this doubles or 0004, sorry. And then we just started stair stepping up and up. Came back down and retested this 001, and then we have just been climbing and then climbing. So we've reached this top of 0017. That is our high.
Can you tell me, you said in the middle of November you had that big jump?
This one here, yeah.
What day is that?
That 14th? Was the 13th.
Which day?
13th of November.
They filed a notification of late filing.
Okay.
So they were going to be late on their financials. What was I just telling you a little while ago? That a lot of companies file late, and for some reason the stock jumps.
No, okay. Well, that seemed to be a catalyst because that was the first pop. But what's interesting here, as you can tell from, I'd say the first of this year, like late January, look at this. We've got higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Really nice.
And we have nothing for this year. No filings, no news.
Well, it has been steadily climbing. You can tell, and it comes back down and retests this. We got a really, really strong support here at 001. Which is your favorite spot.
You don't need a catalyst. You don't need news. You don't need filings. All you need is a chart that has hot technicals. That's all you need.
Really, really nice. And they're all lining up now.
Good. Who cares if it has a catalyst? If you can grab gains from a stock that's been running since the beginning of the year and looks like she's going to continue, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we got several nice support levels here. We've got one, the 00. The strongest one is 001. We've got 0012. 0013 and now 0015, which is we're a little bit above that now. The next resistance is going to be 0017. I like this one a lot. Yeah, that reminds me of when toner was climbing. So let's look at the 1 hour real quick. So right now we're kind of just sideways on the 1 hour, but still steadily climbing. You can tell since like
bouncing off that 200 nicely. And look, you see that big spike that went down underneath the 200?
Yep.
Right there. Again. Yep. That to me is a climb sign. When you see a spike, not the bar, a spike, go real deep, bounce back real fast, that's a ricochet. And it's going to keep ricocheting.
And here's one here. We had a little one here. That was at the end of March. This was in the middle of April.
Yeah, I really like those long ones through a strong SMA. To me, I can hear the rubber band's going to snap, and I want to be a part of that snap.
Yeah. 15 is not as clean, but we're still really riding this 200 on the between. Here's another spike that went down underneath, and it was a green one, so that's good.
I'd be watching for another. I'd be watching for another bounce right now. Now, what is that bounce? It's going from like 5 to 7.
Which one?
Just a bounce, about a standard bounce there from the 200 to the top of the high.
Oh, like 0014 to 0017.
Oh, wow. Geez, that's like a 60% jump. Oh, I'd be watching this one because she's already come below the 200 a little bit, which is all she really ever does, just a little bit. And then she comes back up, not too high, but enough to grab 60% gains before you sell and wait for the next drop.
I think the 1 hour is probably even cleaner. Yeah, this is a nice one. This is a really interesting chart. Really clean. I like this one.
This could be a day trade over and over without any catalyst, without any filing. She's climbing. The chart looks strong. The SMAs are nice and fluid. I like it.
I like this one too. Yep.
All right. What do we got next? DPUI. I covered this twice last year in 2023. Matter of fact, I covered it. Let's just jump over to that news. When I covered all this news was there. There it is. March 23, April 23. They were expanding their brick and mortar businesses. They were expanding into banners, into commercial printing, and they were setting up printing businesses that just did banners, and they were putting them in high metropolitan areas. And they did. It's coming. They built out, and I don't know how many they've got. I haven't counted here, but that is all of them. Please don't do that. That's all of them. And like California's got a bunch that are smashed on each other there. Those are all brick and mortar, but they've also got, as the news tells us now, web to print. Well, duh, you should have had that 20 years ago. But now they've just swamped the market. And that's what I was talking about a year ago. They were going to swamp the market with these brick and mortar buildings. They said they wanted to put up 50 of these and 40 of these. I mean, they had big numbers. And they said by the end of this year, which wasn't too far off, they were going to have that many. Well, we see they are popping up all over the place right now. So let's get some information. The last piece of news here is just to let you know that they went to a global event, an expedition. You know, they're showing off what they do. And I love companies that go out there talking to other businesses. Hey, we can do work for you. We've got this. That's not our job. That's their job. And you see they're doing their job. Relative volume around this company today, about 250% up, going from 1.2 million to 3 million. We got some excitement here. And, I skipped that. I'm sorry. DPUI is at 00062. A real nice price if she's got some momentum built. She's falling right now, though. She fell about 14%. Don't get too excited. That's only 0001. So going from 0007 to 0006 is a 14% loss. So if you had bought it at 7, you just lost 14% of your money in one tick. She's pink current, and she's got all of her validated information. That's the best you're going to get with the pink. Taking a look at the share structure. It's not bad. 290 million outstanding. Insiders own just about 10% of that at about 26 million. We get all the rest, 263 million. It's not a bad float. I mean, it's not a low float, but it's not bad. We see billions and billions. That's a pretty decent average float. Financials, what are they doing? Well, since I looked at them, they did 304. They jumped up to $360,000, bringing home $205,000. They have been growing steadily over the last 4 years. Business is picking up. It's not staggering or anything. And over the last year, well, in the middle of last year was the best. They were up to 125,000, crept up and coming down. Right now they're at 90, and goodness gracious. It doesn't cost them very much, does it? They only spent $2,000 to get $90,000. That's good math. I like that profit margin. Ink must be cheap right now. Cash in the bank. Doesn't look like they got enough to pay all the employees. You got to have a lot of employees for all them stores. They've only got $5,000 in the bank. That's worrisome. Total assets, what? You'd think with every store you have all these printing machines, different sizes for doing banners and shirts and paper and books and whatever. $78,000 is all you have in assets. Are you renting all of your equipment? What are you doing? Total liabilities, well, it's not very high, but it's a lot higher than the assets. We're at $450,000. So for all the stores they own and all the business they're doing, we're holding deficit of $371,000. How disappointing. Quarterly report is out. Their financials, jump into that to get some information. 1Z, 1K, 184. I think this one here, I don't know those others. There's something. Yeah, all three of these top, and you got to dig in to see what those are about. They're strange ones. And this is real old, so we're not going to look at that. So basically, folks, that's what you got. A company that's doing printing everywhere in America, brick and mortar, and they're online. Lots of competition online. And I presume there's probably lots of competition brick and mortar as well. So that's the deal with DPUI. What's the chart look like, Taylor?
Hang on. Sorry, I was looking at something else. So I just marked off a couple areas. This was the lowest we can go, 0001. This right here kind of looked like a little bit of support at 0005.
Yeah.
Now we're up here. So let's see. Yeah. So we just kind of came down the last of last year, or 2023. And
that's the 4-hour chart?
This is the 4-hour, yeah.
I like it. I actually like that chart.
Mm-hmm.
I like
so
it
now it's bouncing back up, and so you have your 200 coming up here, and we have reached that, and all of these are starting to try to line up a little bit. We've got some crosses here. Just would like this one to catch back up, and then
but it tapped that 50 and then went back, and that's what you see a lot of times. It's like homage. You got to pay last respects before you go running away. Hello, goodbye.
Right.
So, and she's over the 200. So
yeah,
she's looking tasty. I don't like your oscillators. But
Yeah,
that,
this is not looking that good. That's because we had a really red day today. We
yeah.
opened at 0008 and we closed at around 0006. So that's quite a drop.
Come on down to the 15-minute for us.
Sure.
See how bad the day looked? Well, she actually didn't have a bad day. She's finished higher than where she started yesterday. No, she didn't, did she?
No. So like we opened around see, I don't know if it's going by this or this, probably this. So we opened here at like 0008 and I think the end of the day closed
1%, 14% down, 7.
down here. So yeah, here.
But it's sitting on the 200 there too. So, I think this is worthy of putting on your watch list. She is at a good price. She could pop.
Here's
And
that
like I said, when things get into the 001 area,
that's up here. I went ahead and marked that here, up here.
Yep. And it's knocking on its door above the 200. So it's at least worthy of watching. I'm not real crazy about their financials right now, but they have a lot. They can do a lot. They just aren't doing a lot yet.
Okay. They have the potential, basically.
They do. They do have the potential. I think they really need a marketing plan that puts them above Quick Print and everybody else whose names pop to our mind and theirs doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, at least we're closer to the 001 than we are the 0001. So that's always positive.
That's one positive.
Otherwise, we're very barcodey like we were over here. But yeah.
She's making a move. I'd put it on my watch list because it's at a tempting price. The chart is what we're watching. It's not about the catalyst, as I say. I would like to see more revenues, a better chart, or a better financial, but I can fix that. There you go.
Okay.
All right. I see we're at 527. We've got one stock left. I've learned that 8 is as far as I can push it. And this one we really need to talk about, folks.
Yeah.
All of you need to pay attention now. This is probably the hottest stock we're looking at here. They are entering into a merger deal, and it could be a very, very lucrative play for this company. This is ticker AGBA, Agba Group Holdings. Now, I'm going to go straight to the information right now. AGBA and Triller merged to create a $4 billion powerhouse, unleashing a game-changing power in digital content and financial service. Now, let me see. I closed it. I had an article here, but it got shoved somewhere and I lost it. But I'm sure I can get the information here. AGBA announces that today they've entered into a definitive merger agreement to combine the company, which is a leading one-stop financial supermarket in Hong Kong, with Triller. Now, they're not a supermarket in the sense that you think of. They're dealing financially. It's a fintech company working in the supermarket industry, and they're one of the biggest in China. And they are merging with Triller, the leading artificial intelligence-driven social video platform. Now, from what I've been able to gather, Triller is the head-to-head competitor with TikTok, and they're looking for capital investment. They want to go public, and this is the vehicle they chose to do it with. Instead of going a SPAC, which would give them nothing but money, this company has more than money to offer them. They have technology. Their fintech business is going to merge and synergize with what Triller is already doing. Triller works with, let's see here. Triller is a leading global AI-powered technology platform that facilitates the interaction between creators, including influencers, artists, and athletes, top global brands, and users. And along with this come a lot of other little divisions that the company has. With its Amplify AI technology, Triller seamlessly integrates across major social media platforms, generating over 500 million interactions quarterly across 436 million consumer accounts. Triller serves as a bridge between users and Fortune 500 companies like Meta, Verizon, Nike, Disney, and Pepsi, helping enhance user engagement bolster. Now, there's a lot of information here, folks. They're working with a lot of different financial companies. Well, here, I'll read it. Agba is a leading Asia-based financial service company servicing over 400,000 individual corporate customers in Hong Kong. Wow. With access to a diverse range of 1,800 financial products, comprehensive training, and integrated operational support. So they're taking both of their expertises and bringing them together in a way that is going to catapult Triller. That's the point here. The supermarket's going to be doing what the supermarket industry is doing. Triller is not going to help the supermarket, but their fintech service is going to help Triller. And Triller is working with all of the big names because anybody that has a strong social media has attachments to all of these other companies. And right now, this company's at $1 for a $4 billion merger. I find that unbelievable. I think this thing is going to surge. I think something's going to snap. And I think, I'm just speaking out loud, this could go 1,000% easy. Just out of crazy excitement from the investors. I don't know if it'll stay there. I don't know. We haven't seen the financials on Triller. I don't know what they're worth, but they say it's a $4 billion deal. That number alone for a stock like this, I think it's going to be exciting. So what was the relative volume around that news today? I think it's exciting. Look at that, folks. From 222,000 to 122 million. Folks, that is an incredible jump. That is humongous. If you're ignoring it, it's your own fault. You're missing out. Look at our outstanding share count. It's not bad at all. 74 million. I don't know what the float is, but the float could be 74 million for all I care. That's not a bad float for such a hot catalyst. Market cap for the company, about 29, 30 million. 30 million market cap for a $4 billion deal. Come on. Jeez. Financials. They haven't got anything on the books annually. They got nothing on the books quarterly. Looking at their balance sheet, they do have 18.5 million in the bank. For a company not making any money, they got 18.5 million in the bank. Holy cow. 66 million in assets, no revenues, and they got a lot of liabilities, but they haven't closed us out. 58 million. We get 8 million in stockholder equity, and that's before the deal. What is Triller worth? Right? That's going to be merged with this company. This company's got 9 million for us. What's Triller got? Folks, I think this is going to run hot. She ran hot today. She's at $1.03. She went up 157%, which is peanuts. Folks. This thing's going to pop. If you're not watching it and you're missing out, you're going to cry. I've given you fair warning. Not that I'm a wizard and psychic in that sense of the word. It's just common sense to me. Triller is a buzzword out there, and this could be a mega deal for penny stock arena. Let's go take a look at that hot chart.
Yeah, this is a good one. It's pretty wild. So we were hanging out in this area between around 35 to 45 cents for since the end of February. The 52-week low was about 32 cents, and that was not that long ago. That was like less than a month ago. And then today, during pre-market hours, we ran all the way to 166. Now, after hours, we're down here like 91 cents, but I mean, still quite a pop.
So that started off around the 30 cent zone.
Yeah. Yeah. So yesterday it jumped a little bit up to like 46 cents, but I mean, it was in the 30-ish cents.
Yeah. So between 400 and 500% jump to its high. Whoa.
Yeah. This is crazy.
This is what I'm talking about, folks. I expect jumps like that. Yes, she's going to have dips. That would be a great time to sell. Don't be looking for the ceiling. Look for the volatility. Look for the people who say, oh, I'm going to take my profit now. And they'll start selling and bring it down. But it wasn't done climbing. You just had some profit takers. Get back in and do it again. Grab the bounces on this puppy. Don't just ride it one way. And that doesn't mean sell everything. You buy 1,000 shares, sell 200 as it goes up. Comes back down. It's like, oh, I can buy 400 now instead of the 200 back. Whatever.
Yeah, so the biggest activity, this jump was in pre-market hours. But
Of
as soon
course.
as the market opened, that's when we jumped to that 166. You can see these are regular candles on the 15-minute, by the way.
Okay.
So you can see this was pre-market, like 7 a.m. Central Time. We jumped from about 47 cents up to 149, hung out around here. As soon as market opened, we jumped to 166.
Wow.
And then,
That
we
was
had the dip.
fast. 15 minutes. You had over
Yeah.
300% run.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong selling on that first bar.
Crazy.
I would
Mhm.
not have been sad if I missed that next 100% because you
Yeah.
don't know what's coming. That 300% I've been very content with.
Yeah, that big move
Oh, that's
happened during
nice.
pre-market.
That's a nice landing too. She
Mhm.
looks. You got a Fibonacci on your chart?
I don't have them calibrated right now. They're
Okay,
messed up.
but that definitely looks like it is right at, if not above, the 50% of her full run coming back down. It doesn't look like she fell any further than 50%. She looks like she's right on that line roughly,
No,
which
we
is what I
can
look for.
let's see.
The top half of that 50% run, you just take the full run, find the middle. Anything above is positive. There's a good likelihood,
It's about
probability.
50%. Mhm.
Yeah, that's looking good to me. And now she's coming to the 50. I think she could ricochet and bounce right off that 50. Folks, you may want to watch this pre-market tomorrow. I'm
Mhm.
not kidding you. You better get up early. 4 o'clock, the market opens. This stock is buyable at 4 o'clock in the morning. You
Yep.
may want to buy yourself something because she could pop stupid pre-market and again fall at the bell, but she could climb too. I'm just saying there could be a big jump by the time the bell opens up. She could already be up 200 or 300%. I'm not saying she will, but there's a strong likelihood here.
Right at the bell is when it got its biggest pop. So if you're already in it, you could have gotten in on this. I don't know how fast. Let me see the 5 minute. Yeah, so here's market open. So it opened at looks like 127 and then it took 10 minutes for it to get to the 166. But even just this first bar, 5 minutes 127 to 152, it's pretty big.
Yeah, yeah. If you got in at the bell and just caught the
At the bell,
run,
yeah.
the
Mhm.
problem is, and I know most people are trying, you think it's going to run all day. It's really tough. This is why you need to get in a habit of selling some, scaling out.
Yeah.
Always take gains on a crazy run, a surge that, wow, this is impressive. If it impresses you, take some of it. Don't let it go by unnoticed. Don't think it's going to run forever. Nothing does. Get used to taking some when you're impressed. When should I sell? When you're impressed. Sell something. Then you won't be depressed if you miss
Yeah,
it.
for sure. I agree with that. Yeah, this is a hot one. I'm going to keep an eye on this one for sure.
All right, that
All right.
covers it all, folks. I'm turning it all off there. Where'd we get to? Ooh, didn't exactly get to 5:45 yet. I thought we would. It's 5:37. Hour and a half. That's about as far as we can go. I mean, there's nothing stopping us. We could go all day, all night if we wanted to. But you people got things to do. I'm sure, though, if we stayed on 24 hours, people would just cycle in and
Like
cycle
a
out.
telethon.
Right, exactly. Exactly. But we got lives to live too. So, all good things must come to an end. Thank you for your time, folks. I sure appreciate you being here. I like all the comments. Roy, you've been really kicking it out there. I appreciate your comments. David, thank you, buddy. All of you folks, T. Rick, S. Vag, thank you for coming back, S. Vag. I didn't see your answer there, so sometimes you just make presumptions. Mike Porter, hi to you too, buddy. Lots of you came in while I was working. I hope I shared something with you that makes sense. No, I hope I shared something with you that makes you money. That's what we're here for. We will see you next week, folks. If Taylor is available, she takes a lot of vacations here recently. Taylor's available. She'll be here next week with me, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. When the bell's going off, we're going on every Thursday. See you then, folks.
Bye.